In this question, we've got a table, and that's asking now for the mean number of goals per match. And this overall is the number of goals, and we have 8 people who scored, or 8 teams rather, scored 0. There are 10 teams that scored 1, 12 teams that scored 2, and so on. Now the first question I would ask myself is how many teams are there? And by adding all these together, I would find that there are 40. But to find a mean, what I have to do is add all the numbers up and then divide it by the number, which is 40. So I have to have 40 numbers in a row. And what are those 40 numbers? Well, the first number is 0, but I'd have to write that 8 times. So I'd have to write 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I would have the one goal 10 times. 1, 2, 3, and so on. And overall here I would have 40 different numbers. And to find the mean, I'd have to add all of these numbers together and then divide all of that by 40. But surely there'd be an easier way to find all of these numbers adding up. I'd have to add these together. Surely there is an easier way to add them all up rather than do each one individually. And you may have spotted it. I can. That's the same as multiplying the frequency by the number of goals and adding them up. So I can add that to another column. If I call this X and I call this F, I can find a new column Fx, F times X. And this would be 0 times 8, which is 0. This would be 10 times 1, which is 10. And the 10, remember, is all of the 1's added together. What about all the 2's added together? There are 12 2's, so overall this should be 24. There were 3 3's, making a total of 9, 5 4's, which give me a total of 20, and 2 5's, which give me a total of 10. I have to add all these together because that is what I have at the top of my fraction, and by adding them up, I get 73. I can refer to this number also as the sum of Fx. And this symbol is a Greek sigma. It looks like a capital M on its side, and this means sum of. So the mean I could write as the sum of all of the Fx terms divided by my total number of teams, which is the sum of F. And by using this formula now, I can do 73 divided by 40, which is 1.825. So that means that the mean number of goals scored is 1.825, which sort of makes sense because that would be about here. And it looks like there are more in the lower end than there are at the higher end. Okay, we will have a quick look at example 2, and then I'll start a new video for example 3. Here we have to find the mean number of cars, but it's not shown as a table anymore, it's shown as a chart. So we need to try to find out what this means in the same sort of format that we saw before. Now we could write all of this again in a table, and if I were to do that, the number of cars sold per day I will call X, and the frequency I will call F. Then I will get my column again, F and X here, and X goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my frequency goes 2, 4, 3, 6, 3, and 2. And I would then do the same thing I did before. To find the mean, I'd have to do the sum of Fx, and then divide it by the sum of F. Now the sum of Fx, I have to find that out by working out what Fx is first. So this is 0, 4, 6, 18, 12, and 10. And I'd have to add all of those numbers together, which is 50. And then I'd divide it by all of these numbers added together, which is 20. And so overall my mean should be 2.5. 5. Actually, I will go into example 3 because I don't think it will take very long. And then you can start work on the exercises. So this says a police station kept records for a number of road accidents in the area each day for 100 days. So it's told us there are 100 different numbers here. The figures below give the number of accidents per day. So on the first day there was 1 accident. On the second day there were 4 accidents. The third day there were 3 accidents. So how would I find the mean number of accidents per day? Well, the best way of doing this is to create the same table. So I could call x the number of accidents, and that ranges from 0 up to 8. 8 is the largest. So I could write 0, 1, 2, all the way down to 8. And then the frequency, it would be difficult to tell from a large number of numbers. So what I should do instead of doing f, a tally. And every time I see a 0, I put a mark, and I can tick it off. And then I can count the zeros, 1, 2, 3, can't see any more, maybe there are, yeah, there's another one, 4. So because it's easy to miss them, what I have to do, after I've worked out my tally, I'd write my frequency. I have to add all of my frequencies together, and it has to be the same as the number of numbers, which is 100. So that's one way to check. I'd have to add all these together to find it's 100. And then after that, I'd have to do fx again, work out all these numbers, and do the same formula. In this case, if I were to do that, 323 would be my total of fx. My total f we know is 100. So overall, it's 3.23 accidents per day would be the mean. Okay, have a go at the exercises.